So there's a few different ways that you can set this up depending on the type of equipment that you have or some limitations. I'm going to go over a few different setups, but all the principles will remain the same. So there's a few things right off the bat that you'll notice. One, I'm not very good at using a tripod, so I'm probably going to be cut out of like half of the shots here. Hopefully it'll work. We're going to have to work with what we got. So the first thing, like any other cable exercise, is we always want to look at the joint and the muscles in question here. So in this case, we're looking at the elbow joint and we're looking at the tricep. So really just looking at the upper arm. And we want to make sure that that upper arm is in line or parallel to the resistance, which in this case is the cable. So you can see that will change a little bit if I move away from the cable. So if I move away from the cable, I can drop that elbow a little bit lower. That may be better for someone who has a little bit more of a restriction in shoulder flexion. Or if I get closer to the cable, I'm going to need to bring the cable up higher. So you'll see if I step closer to the cable, now I'm going to have to bring that elbow up a little bit higher to keep that upper arm kind of parallel to the cable, which I'm not doing a great job with. And just for a different angle and also just to make sure that I stay symmetrical, bro, I'm going to show the left side here, but I've got the cable set down lower. So similarly, if I'm lower with the cable, that means I'm going to have to bring that elbow up a little bit higher compared to what I would be doing if I had the cable set up higher. I could bring that elbow out a little bit more. So just what I would highly recommend doing, even though nobody wants to be this guy, is just take a damn video of yourself. It really helps just to see it and be able to make sure that you're lined up. And then once you do that a couple of times, you just mark down the settings on the machine, and then you're good to go. So the first example I was showing facing the cable, which in this machine allowed me to hold on and kind of brace against the cable. That's a nice thing to be able to do, but that isn't always possible with every setup. So if you're not able to do that, you can just do it like I'm showing here, just freestanding. Honestly, most people aren't strong enough that this is going to be a huge issue, but if you needed to hold on to something, you could always pull up a bench or just like a random guy that you can hold on to with the opposite hand, or girl. Just make sure they're sturdy. So what I'm showing here now is if you get out of position a little bit, if you step too far back, you're going to have that cable brushing too much against your back. If you step too far forward, the cable is going to be pulling at a weird angle back. So again, taking a video can be really helpful, but oftentimes you'll feel that something isn't right. If you're feeling some weird stuff in the shoulder or the elbow, that's usually an indication that you don't have things lined up. So it seems like there's a lot of steps here and there's a lot of things to remember, and it does take a little bit of time to figure out the setup, but once you do, it's very worth it because your triceps are going to get blown up, and that's really all that matters in this world. Well, that and lats.